Start us up.
Start us up. Welcome to episode 22. Dave, how's your legs?
I'm hurting, man.
Dave is
I'm
burned like a lobster from
I'm
fishing.
red. Yeah, I'm not doing good. My legs are actually like swollen right now. Pretty bad.
That's terrible.
I
That's
messed up.
that's unfortunate.
I should have covered up, but
Yeah,
you know
covered
what
up.
the crazy part is?
Hmm.
It was cloudy that day, all day long,
Wow.
and that's the days that get you because I didn't even think about it because it was cloudy and it was kind of cool out. But man, I'm telling when I got home at that day, trouble.
Well, that kind of brings us to today's topic. Today we were going to talk about the month of June is the time to put in your screening.
Yeah,
Get it rolling.
annual screening.
Yeah. Would you got anything planned?
Yeah, I got a surprise topic.
Well, yesterday I sprayed a half a jug of IMOX already.
No, did you spray your clover?
Yeah,
Nice.
everything's sprayed up. Yep, I sprayed that whole half bottle already.
I seen in a forum today, somebody posted what they can spray on their clover and chicory and not kill the clover and chicory.
Mm,
Virtually every comment was IMOX.
yeah, word's getting out.
Yeah, so
Yep,
we coined the phrase.
we coined it since late '80s, early '90s.
We made it up.
Mm-hmm.
IMOX. We came
IMOX.
up. We came up with the idea. Now everybody's using it.
Everybody's using it.
hmm Yeah. So
I wish I did. I'd be rich.
yeah, you'd be rich and retired,
Hmm.
and I'd be able to afford pants to cover my legs up.
Ouchie, ouchie. So yeah, I sprayed half a jug of IMOX already, and today before we record, I already took the Ferguson cultivator around the field and all the areas that I want to plant my screening, my annual screening,
Nice.
in incognito,
Yep,
which,
I got it
which
right here.
is yeah, which is what? Read it off.
Well,
What's in it? What's in it, Dave?
calm yourself now. It
Tell the folks.
is
Tell the folks at home.
38% Egyptian wheat, 34% of grain sorghum, and 26% of Photo 400 BMR sorghum Sudan grass. And it's a good mixture. I think this is third year we used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is an old bottle, but I have two jugs downstairs that I'm gonna be popping in June 3rd
Hmm.
for screening.
Yeah, I'm not gonna totally encase my no BS in front of my stand this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna build two side walls
Mm-hmm.
and leave the ends open. Uh, Something different.
Yeah, I'm just using it because
I never do the same thing every year.
yeah, I usually don't either. I tried to plant it last year at the new farm, but the farmer sprayed and killed it by
Right.
accident. And but I'm just using it because how I have to access, where the plot. Actually, the plots kind of sit like this, going the woods is back here, and they sit on a downhill. So any deer that comes in that woods, they can't see past that hill.
Okay.
So they're pretty secure there. But
Hmm.
I'm mainly using it just for my access.
Yeah.
It'll help out a little bit there just because it already has poor access, but that's what I'm gonna be using it for. So we're
Mhm.
gonna talk about some tips and stuff with planting it, and because um, on my website, it's probably like the number one thing that's searched right now is Egyptian wheat and screening. So we'll have some tips in there, and we'll discuss certain ways that people can utilize it.
Right.
So what's a tip? Give everybody a tip. What do you actually? What are you using it for this year? Are you using it for to screen your access at all, or is it mainly to divide plots,
No,
divide deer, or
I'm
what?
just dividing plots.
Okay.
I'm dividing plots is basically all I'm doing. I'm not even dividing a deer. I'm just dividing plots basically and putting up a couple of walls. I'm not even worried about my access because I usually use that destination plot just as evening stand.
Mm,
And normally they will come out of the woods from behind me and come past me, hit the plots, and then move on out further to the fields.
So if you're
So
dividing the plots, what does that do for the deer? What do you think it does?
I'm just partitioning off. It's not gonna really do a whole lot for them security wise because out in that field I have that big wall that I put out there that screens it from the road, and behind me is all woods. So they're gonna feel uh, safe and secure as it is. I mainly am shielding my hunting plot from roads, neighbors, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
It's not even for the deer particularly. It's for me to screen uh, the deer from other people.
Yeah, it's a good way to use it.
Yeah, I mean, where I'm at, it's a tourist area, and weekends, it's a nightmare sometimes, and
Hmm.
people running around on side by sides and four wheelers and things, and the more they see, the more curious they get. So I block off a lot of those areas and keep their curiosity down, basically.
So how are you planning it? You're disking the ground, and then you smoothing it out first, and then seeding, and then using your roller, or what's your method?
What I will do is right now I'm working it with the Ferguson cultivators, and I will work that once a week for at least 3 weeks in a row, and that will uproot anything as it comes back and grows. And then I will give it one spraying right before I plant, day or two before I plant, just some Gly or something, just to make sure everything's dead and anything that may have popped up green. And then basically gonna go just broadcast the seed, and I will go get the chain drag, put it behind the quad, and just
Hmm.
drag it in.
Nice.
Yep, yep,
You're using a shoulder spreader.
yep, yep. I mean, the cultivators will work it up pretty rough, and I probably will go in and blackboard disc it at least once,
You don't have
just
no black boar.
just to smooth it up some.
You don't have one.
I got two.
You have two.
No, I have one.
Okay.
I have one, and I have
Where did you get it at?
the other thing called.
Where'd you get it? The black
I,
boar at?
I find it in the weeds.
Found it in the weeds.
Yeah, somebody threw it to the side.
They
They
did.
they swore at it, ripped it off their quad, and threw it in the weeds, and was
Yeah.
gonna junk it.
Hmm.
And
Man,
I told that guy, "What are you doing?
that was a
I
good
can."
save.
I said, "I can make this thing work."
Yeah, it was a good save.
Guess what his name was?
Mm,
You know him.
Billy,
No,
Karen, Ken.
he was a Karen that day, I'm sure. You silly
I know.
you.
I gave you a black boar.
Yep, you could not. Your quad just wasn't set up for it,
Nope.
basically.
Nope. Was not. Well, speaking of that, I get a lot of questions about the black boar,
Mhm.
honestly, but it's meant for a straight axle ATV,
Yes.
UTV, whatever.
Hmm.
My new quad is independent rear suspension. So
Hmm.
each wheel's, on its own, and it
Yes.
doesn't work. Now they do sell a locking mechanism that you can buy that will lock that differential to be able to use it. I just didn't want it. I didn't know that. I don't think they made it at that time. So I was just like, screw it. And I gave it to you.
Yeah.
But it does
Well,
work.
I had to really think on that and
Hmm.
engineer.
Yeah.
I had to really work on it. And what I had to do is those implements are so heavy
Hmm.
to put behind
A lot of weight in the back.
anything, anything for that matter. It's just so much weight hanging out there.
Hmm.
And what I had to do to make it work, well, of course, I beefed up the hitch first,
Right.
and then all that weight hanging out there, what I do is actually sit on the quad and bottom out the suspension, and I wrap a chain around the rear rack and down around the hitch and back up to the rack. So I actually bottom out the suspension, because if you do not do that, when you let the weight down, the quad just gets all jacked up in the air
Hmm.
and you've got no down pressure.
You're still using the hydraulic on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still works.
Cool.
So, yeah, if you don't bottom out the suspension, it's just going to lift and lower your bike,
Yeah.
and you don't get any down pressure and it won't work. It just rides on top like a
Hmm.
roller.
Yeah.
Just right.
Those, ATV implements are a little. I mean, you can get it. You can get stuff done with it. But you just got to you got to be creative with it.
Yeah, you really have to watch what you're doing.
That's just like the Groundhog Max. I think
Yes.
it's a great little thing, but you got to be careful.
Yes, it is.
It does work.
It does work. It works well. And what what did we tear up your hitch with?
That was
Was that the groundhog or was that the black boar?
that was a black boar.
That
See,
was the black.
I never broke the hitch with the groundhog because I had those welds on there myself.
Yeah.
I welded on there for that and it never broke. But what broke it was the black bore
Okay.
from being in the back
Yeah.
and driving and that thing bouncing up and down
Right.
and it snapped it off and then we fixed it that day.
Yeah. Okay.
That was
And
the
then
day we actually were disking in those sunflowers.
soybeans,
No, the
soybeans or
sunflowers.
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 Oh, the day we rolled them on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
came back the next day or something to disc them in and it broke. So I had to I think I gave up or something and then came back to your house and we welded it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it works
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
when you can get it set up right.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to figure that out.
Hmm.
Like you said, there nowadays they make kits for all that because they were getting a black eye.
Hmm.
They really were. The groundhog was taking a beating. The company itself was taking a
Yeah.
beating on that. But they're still around. I see them at Tractor Supply now. They're up to like $300.
Yeah, I know the owner. Um, he sold the company, and then the people that bought the company, didn't they don't have any idea about anything that it does. So he ended up getting back into the company in a small
Hmm.
portion, I think, small percentage of the company, and then I think it started coming back because, like you said, they were getting beat up. Um, and they weren't advertising it as needing to beef up the hitch because hitches are meant for downward, pressure. They're not meant for upward pressure.
Right.
So, but yeah, um, so you're disking and you're doing all that good stuff and you're planting
Yeah.
Egyptian wheat.
Yep. I'll disc it. Well, I'll cultivate it 3 times,
Hmm.
and then I will black bore it, which is disking 1 time, and then I will spray it to make sure anything that's green is dead to eliminate competition. And then a couple of days later, I will spread the seed and probably drag over it with a chain drag. Probably not the aggressive side, just the flip side.
Hmm.
Just to get that contact.
Cool.
I probably won't roll it or anything like that.
Good.
So
I hate when you roll.
I don't mind rolling.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
You shouldn't roll. The only
Yeah.
time you should roll is when you do a tough mutter and you roll underneath the
No.
wires.
Stop it.
Like I did, and I was dizzy for 3 days.
Well, I have in years past. It was so dry that it just turned to dust,
Hmm.
and so I had to roll to firm it back up. It was just blown away. So
Speaking of dry, it's dry. We need a
yeah,
little.
it is dry again.
We need a little. We need a little squirt.
Yeah, and there's not that much in the forecast coming.
No, there's not. It's pretty dry.
Did you see next week's forecast? My
90s here.
lord.
Yeah, 90s here.
Yeah, we got like some 85, 88-degree days coming.
Yeah, I think Thursday is supposed to be 90.
Mm.
So,
Great.
um,
Perfect for screening the
it is the
that
Egyptian wheat and
stuff
all that.
loves the heat.
It does. It loves heat. What if does this tell you temperature wise, or it doesn't? It just says
What's it
yeah.
tell you? What does it tell you for time of planting?
Well,
Usually the
north May to July, central May to August, and
yeah.
then south June to September. But
Oh,
you
it's
can't.
time.
That's just a reference. But no, it's time.
It is time.
Yeah, it's time. No more Maryland. I'm in Maryland. No more frost. We're past all that. So
Yeah.
um, when I planted it every single year at the farm. Um, I changed it every year, just dividing plots, and actually used it to funnel the deer a little bit. Pasture tree stand, and we also screened it for access because we had to kind of walk past that the bigger plot.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I use it for. But um, basically, what I'll do is I'll have the weeds taken care of, and then I'll just disc one time, and then I will smooth it out. I'll broadcast it, and it's 11 pounds per acre when you broadcast. So I actually had a guy here. We'll see how good your math is here.
Oh boy.
Um, he had a specific area um, that he wanted to plant Egyptian wheat in, and he said it was like length times width or whatever. He's like, how much seed does he add?
Hmm.
So you got to do the math on it.
Yeah.
Square feet, how many square feet are in an acre. Then you have to figure out 11 pounds per acre and do all that stuff.
Hmm.
And you have to come up with a poundage per what his field size is.
Right.
I'll fertilize at planting. Typically, you know, I'll do, if you usually people aren't planting a solid acre of it. It's usually strips 10 feet wide seems to be the magic number. And then however long it goes. But I'll just broadcast, triple 19 in there. And then I'll let it go for 30 days. If you do a good job and you get rain, I have a video on this. But within 5 days, it should be up about that tall. Within 5 days, you should see it up about uh, half inch to an inch,
Mm-hmm.
basically. If you have
Now
the rain.
we had mentioned this before about in your NP and K that P and K doesn't move a whole lot.
Yeah.
So people need to fertilize at planting with this stuff anyhow
Hmm.
because the P and K is what's going to create your stalk strength and things,
Hmm.
especially the K at the end there. Um,
Potassium, yeah.
yeah, you want to get that in the ground with the seed.
Hmm.
You get it incorporated with the seed, and because I mean you can always top dress later, all that jazz, but P and K doesn't move very far. You're
Yeah.
only talking about maybe, getting into the dirt maybe an inch or so,
Hmm.
and letting it soak right in. But yeah, get it incorporated with the seed, folks.
Yeah. And then I'll come back 30 days later and give it a little juice of triple 19 again, right
Hmm.
over top when the leaves are dry. That really gives it a good little jump. And then sometimes I'll even come back 45 days, 60 days, and I'll mist it with some micronutrients.
Hmm.
And that gives you a nice solid screen for the fall.
Yeah, for sure.
I see a lot of negative people, you know, bashing Egyptian wheat because it falls down. Um, but it does fall down. It's an annual screen, but typically, unless you're way, way, way up in the north, you get tons of snow, which it may not be a good option. But where we're at, um, it'll get you into December, and then by the time it
Yeah,
actually
for
does
sure.
snow and fall down, well, you don't need it anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, how long does it last up by you? I mean,
I mean
it starts to fall, what?
it's
December, right?
yeah. I mean, but I don't rifle hunt there anyhow.
Mhm.
I use it strictly for archery,
All right.
and
But you
So I
have a
mean,
solid screen and through the month of October and the month of November.
oh yeah, for sure. When you need it the most,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't rely on it for rifle season. I don't hunt during rifle season
Hmm.
anyhow. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, if somebody's wanting it to last longer, um, I'm sure in the southern states
Oh shoot.
It probably does stand.
Oh, in the South, yeah, it should never fall.
Yeah, it shouldn't unless they get high winds and
Right.
things. You
Yeah.
know,
But up here, I mean, yeah, you deal with the snow and it will fall down. I mean,
for sure, for sure.
um, but like I always said, by the time it snows where I'm at, Pennsylvania, all down, all the way through the central area states there, I mean, by the time it snows, I mean, hunting season's coming to an end.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah. What
What
do you
else
got?
you got? What else you got?
I hope,
What are you gonna plant then?
huh?
What are you gonna plant?
What do you mean? What am I going to plant?
What's your seed of choice to go inside of your screens?
This year in the fall, I don't know what I'm planting yet. I'm
Ah,
still undecided.
it's a
I have,
secret.
I have this, and I have mother load.
Uh huh.
And I got some other stuff that I don't know what I'm gonna plant yet. I haven't figured it out yet.
I'm gonna hunt over no BS.
No BS, can't go
Yep.
wrong.
Yep.
Um,
That's been my go-to seed for the last 3 years now.
all right, so yeah,
So you got a question?
yeah, we got some questions here for Egyptian wheat, and
Okay.
it's actually good stuff. And what I kind of do at the same time or the same thing every year too is what do you do with your Egyptian wheat the following year?
Oh,
Because it is an annual. It's going to dry out in the
yeah.
winter time and it's going to fall down, or some of it actually may be standing. But
Hmm.
um, Jason wants to know, how do you get rid of the dead Egyptian wheat the following spring? Do you have
Okay.
to remove it or just disc it under? Thanks, love your videos. So you want to go first?
I can.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I do in the spring, like in March, April time, when there's not a whole lot going on in my food plot because it's just usually still snowing,
Hmm.
hit and miss. I'll take the brush hog over and I'll chop it up as fine, as low as I can get it,
Hmm.
and then and then I let it sit for a while, and then I came back. Like now we're at the end of May, going into June, and I was just over there today, and I took the cultivators through it and ripped it all up, tore it all up, and then I'll let that sit for a little while.
Hmm.
I've heard of people pouring the nitrogen to it, saying that that'll help it decay a lot quicker and get that debris and duff to like I said, decay quicker. Um, but I have never tried that. So yeah, I basically go over and mow it and cultivate it, and then it will get disked in,
Hmm.
get all chewed up. And that's like the best organic matter you can put is back in the dirt.
Yeah, so I'll kind of do the same thing. I'll come back in and either mow it or just disc it back in. If you mow it, if you're able to chop it up, it helps break it down faster
For sure.
um, than it would if it's full stalks trying to decompose. If you can bust that up, disc it, a little bit or whatever. But as you know, we showed it a lot too. Is there's roots and everything in there. Whatever's going on in that structure in the soil when you plant it, the soil's really black
Yes.
underneath. So it really adds a lot of organic matter. It may not break down as fast as something else that's like soft, um, but it will break down over time and turn into organic matter. So
Yeah.
just mow that bad boy.
Yep. Yep. That's the best thing you can do is chop it, get it all chipped up.
All right. And then Scott wants to know, how do you prep the seed bed for Egyptian wheat and what is the recommended depth?
Okay.
Want me to go first?
Sure, you could.
Um, so basically, I'll prep the seed bed by eliminating the weeds. The first year, if it's a brand new plot, you'll have some weeds there. And then it's best to spray them with Glide 2,4-D, and then I will actually disc. About 2 weeks later, I'll just disc it under, and then I will kind of drag that and smooth it out so you don't have big clumps or uneven soil. And then I'll just simply seed right into that, and then I will either just drag it or lightly cultipack it and pray for a rain. And like I said, if you do a good job with everything with the seed prep or and soil prep, you get moisture. It should be up about an inch within 5 days.
Mhm. My prep is like I mentioned earlier. I chop it, get it all down, and then I bring in the cultivators, get the dirt worked up, and then I go in and disc it once, and I'll spray for competition and try to get it as smooth as possible. Put the seed out, and I get the drag harrow, turn it over to the smoother side, and I drag it. Egyptian wheat should be no more than an inch deep
Oh yeah, I
coverage.
forgot to answer that. Yeah, half
Yeah,
inch to an inch.
yeah, it should be
Yep.
no more than an inch.
Yep.
Yep.
Another quick little tip is if people are if they have a lot of weeds or are concerned about a lot of weeds, you can use a pre-emergent. You can use Simazine. You can spray Simazine right after you seed, and that'll prevent any weeds from coming back. So
I never used it.
I used it once. It does work, but I used it once for Egyptian wheat at the old farm, and it does work. So it's
Yeah,
a
I
good.
usually I hit it with Gly, and that seemed to take care of most everything. I mean, eventually stuff starts to come back, but
Yeah, yeah.
like I
Well, if
was just
you,
over there today cultivating, and there was like dandelions in it, and you know,
yeah,
there's always going to be a weed seed bank.
yeah. Well, if
You
you
know,
time it right, and you take care of the weeds and you plant and you get moisture, that just weed's going to take off and it's going to shade out a lot of the other
yeah,
stuff. I mean, you'll get some in there, but
yeah. From the side, you get sunlight in, and
right,
you'll get a little bit on the edges.
it's not a huge deal. But if you don't, I mean, if it can happen where you get too many weeds in there, it will stunt it.
I guess it could, yeah.
It does. I've seen it. Yep.
Uh, a lot of times I would get like ragweed in mine,
Yes.
so
Yep.
which isn't a bad thing, I don't think. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You are ragweed.
you're redweed,
I am red.
red
Man, look
leg,
at oh,
or
look at that.
redskin,
Red
redskin,
skin.
redskin.
Yeah, red skin. Anyway, hopefully that helps some people out with some Egyptian wheat. Like I said, I'm planning June 3rd, pending, as long as it's not raining or something. But
Mhm.
um, that's my day to plant Egyptian wheat, getting it all in the ground, and then I won't be planting until about the end of August.
There you go.
Views
Uh,
are up. Last Monday was our number one video
yeah.
or uh, podcast for the most amount
Yes.
of views in a single day. So
Huh.
every Monday they keep going up and up and up and up. So more
That's
people
cool.
are listening. I appreciate listening, and you can watch on Chris's channel.
Gets get. I put out a poll on the community tab,
I saw.
and all the comments were positive.
Yeah,
So,
it's good.
yep.
All right, later, Gator.
Okay. 22 in the books. See you on 23.